all want to be happier at work.
Yes, I want to be happy. I want to be efficient.
Yes.
That's for sure. So it's connecting. Okay, let me connect then the Clubhouse.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm starting the Clubhouse. Let me ping you. Ksenia, can I ping you in actually as well in Clubhouse? So you're also
Absolutely.
there. So you're also there as a speaker.
Mm-hmm. Hello, everyone.
So
I see people joining. Irina, Spencer, Marco. Good to see everyone.
So I pinged you in the room, Ksenia, in Clubhouse. Did you see the notification?
I probably did, but since I am on Facebook on my phone.
I sent you an SMS as well, so
okay.
It should come to your phone, so you can click that. So let's see who I can ping.
Sure.
I actually have Russian speaking audience in Clubhouse more than English speaking. So
yeah, let me just join. Okay, I'm there. Oh, all right.
Yeah, you can mute yourself in Clubhouse, so it's not too noisy.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let me see. How do I mute myself? I'm just.
You have a mic. Yeah, you did it. You did it. You did it. Did I share on my personal page? And we're starting very soon now.
All right, let's see how that goes.
You need to switch the sound in your Clubhouse on your telephone so it's on mute, so we don't have these.
One second. I get the echo. 1 second.
Yeah.
But if I leave the Clubhouse, nobody would be able to hear me, correct?
No. You just put it on mute so they see you as a speaker, but they will hear you through Zoom. So this is how we did it last time.
Mm-hmm.
But on your telephone, you need to switch off the sound so you don't hear me.
Because I do hear you now. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Thank you for your patience, everyone. We're just trying to hook up everywhere online.
We try to go basically everywhere. Zoom, Clubhouse, Facebook, so that, emotional intellect reaches everybody worldwide.
Yes.
Good.
All right. Let me go live. All right. Agile and EQ. That's what I'm typing up on my Facebook Live. Agile and EQ. All right, wonderful. Start live video.
We have already 16 people here.
All right, so I'm on Facebook.
Yeah, we're everywhere.
All right, we're everywhere.
Marco, we can see you. Hello, emotionally intelligent, beautiful people. I think we may have more people coming. We're in all channels. We could make it today. So just let us give a couple of minutes for people to join. Meanwhile, can you please write where you're from? So I'm currently in Spain, in Mallorca, an island, and Ksenia is currently in New York. And can you please measure your emotional intelligence from 0 to 100? So 100 meaning you're a guru of emotional intelligence. you know everything, you are perfect with your feelings, with understanding people. And zero means, well, it cannot be zero. If you're already thinking about it, it's at least one, as they say in coaching. So where are you from, and what's your level of emotional intelligence from 0 to 100?
If you know what it is.
Yeah, if you know what it is.
Deepak, Marco, Mercy, Jatin, Irina, Spencer, Vile, Dmitro. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your names. Anna, Carl, Nicole. Oh, so many people. Wonderful. Emmanuel, Saul,
And
Tia.
we're so global, Ksenia. We have Canada, Atlanta, Ukraine, Cape Town, Helsinki, Sweden, Washington, New Jersey. So wow, wow, wow.
That's amazing. Oh, somebody from New Jersey. Very close to me.
Great.
Close.
So let me share the slide. Important slides from the festival. So while everybody's
Nigeria. Nice.
Yeah, Nigeria, guys, I love you. You know it.
We have
Always.
people from all over. Ukraine, Washington, Sweden. Wonderful.
So, very important slide. So this event is part of something truly, truly big. And I'm very happy to be part of it. I'm trustee, one of the trustees of Agile 20 Reflect Festival, which is Agile festival with more than 800 events all over the world in different languages, dedicated to agility, dedicated to us people. And it's not only about Agile. We have had sessions on gratitude and also some on emotional intelligence, psychology, personal issues. You can discover more about events on Agile 20 Reflect org. This is a fantastic thing happening globally, actually volunteer-based, people generously sharing their knowledge, their experience. So on the page, you can find both the code of conduct, and you can also find a place to donate just in case you want to support, so that the Agile world grows and reaches every single corner of the world. Also, please help us to get the world talking about Agile. If you're using any social networks, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, please, you can make a photo of this session of yourself, of your computer, of us here, and you can make it with, post it with my Agile 20 Reflect hashtag. So, of course, we trustees and volunteers who will be checking the hashtags and liking them and sending a lot of love. The website is here. The event is supported by the biggest Agile organizations, federations. We have also the academic support. And I'm very happy that today we can talk about emotional intellect, emotional intelligence, because as you know, Agile principle is that people are actually over everything, over processes, documents, formal things. People are very in the center of everything for Agile. And this is the beauty of Agile personally for me. And being very honest, I have worked in different corporations, global companies, like Samsung, L'Oreal, Mars Incorporated, with different cultures. I work for startups. I'm university professor. But the most difficult thing and the most interesting one was always people, how to understand people, how to make people understand you and help them to understand you. So people, this is something great, but also something quite challenging. So today we have an expert on emotional intelligence from New York, Ksenia Krivor. Ksenia is a corporate trainer working with such international big brands as Johnson & Johnson and many more. But also Ksenia is bringing the emotional intelligence message to everybody, making amazing workshop for small kids, teenagers and preteens, and also for individual, involving training, coaching, and actually making the world more agile, actually, because if you have a high level of emotional intelligence, you're more likely to be a great Scrum Master, a great Agile coach or Agile trainer. So I'm very happy that Ksenia is with us. Me, myself, just to give you a background, I will be more moderating, but as I said, I'm university professor, so you will have a homework from me to do. So please, please, please stay until the very end. I will make you do something very, very interesting and practical. I'm a PhD researcher for neuropsychology, and hey guys, you know, emotional intelligence and how the brain works, these topics are so hot and so interrelated. I'm also social cultural anthropologist, which makes me human centric by nature, because you know anthropology is all about studying people and how they actually build cultures, subcultures, and how they communicate and what the culture is. I'm a marketing strategist, and as I told you, I work a lot with universities across the globe. And whatever subject I'm teaching, I've been doing a course on agility in Moscow State University on project management and contemporary project management techniques, where of course we dedicated most of the part to Agile. And you know, big part of the story was about things which we can call emotional intelligence, because if you cannot tackle that, you cannot tackle the tools, the frameworks, and other, you know, hard skills which we need to do and be able to do when we work in Agile. So Ksenia, the stage is yours. Please be tolerant with me. I will be asking questions and interrupting you because I have so many things to ask. Yes.
Yeah,
So
you know what, Julia, do you think you can stop sharing the screen, or you want to keep it on?
yeah, we want to see you.
Okay, wonderful. And I want to see everyone here on the screen as well. Well, thank you so much for such kind invitation. As you know, I am very, very passionate in what I do, and I do teach emotional intelligence skills for people all over the world, especially here in the United States, not necessarily for corporations, but also for individuals as well as children. So today our focus is career, our jobs, and what can we do to make a place at work a little bit happier. Don't we all want this, to actually love what we do and be very happy? Yes, so let's talk about what really makes a successful business leader. Because if you think about it, no matter what you do, you're all leaders. So it is really not necessarily the smartest people in your organization who are the best performers. Because when it comes to leadership, EQ, emotional intelligence, matters as much as, if not more than, IQ. So emotional intelligence is one of the best predictors of success at work and fulfillment in life. And it is trainable for everyone. I think that's the best part of it, because it is trainable. It's an acquired skill. We're not born with it. So it really has become one of the most talked about ideas in popular psychology, industrial training, in management, education, social care, anywhere, all different aspects and fields of life. So what is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence informs how we react to other people's emotions and our own, how we handle life situations and life challenges. And it helps us understand who we are, very specifically, our strengths and weaknesses, what we believe in, what our values are and whether we honor them or not, what motivates us, and how we interact with and understand other people, which is super important at a workplace. So when we've grown up without cultivating our emotional intelligence, we can become technically adept without becoming wise. So just think about it. Here are some of the examples. Your brilliant manager with amazing tech skills, who is constantly complaining and manipulating people around her or him. Or it can be talented coworker who can't seem to build strong relationships with anyone. Or it can be your wealthy self-made uncle who is disengaged from the life he's meant to enjoy. So these people lack emotional intelligence. So now today, since I'm interacting, Julia, with you, who is a neuropsychology researcher, I really must mention that whatever age you are now, and you can actually, Julia, support me on this or not, that whatever age you're now, your life so far has been building these behavioral templates, which are stored in your brain and are used for reacting automatically to situations. That's why sometimes it's so hard for us to understand, why do I react this way? How can I stop screaming? It happens automatically. So these are pathways between brain cells that get more fixed as feelings and thoughts patterns are repeated. So if we repeatedly do something for our entire life, we just get used to it. It becomes automatic. And actually, they are physical things. They are proteins attached to your DNA and neural connections controlling your behavior. They're central. They define you. But the good news is that we do change. So unlearning old behaviors and forming new emotional intelligence templates happen all the time. It just comes with practice. It's something that we need to do every single day. So to ask a question, how do we develop emotional intelligence? Through practice. We just have to know what we're doing instead of reacting automatically. So the bottom line is that we all have this capacity to develop new thinking and behavior if we are sufficiently motivated, if we know what's that bigger reason why I'm supposed to learn all the skills. Because initially, when you start picking up on new skills, it does feel foreign to us. It feels like as if you're learning a foreign language. That's so hard to comprehend in the beginning. You know, you take one letter, then you make it into words, and then you make it into sentences, and then it takes years to practice. Same goes with an emotional intelligence skills. So, like I said, emotional competencies are not our innate talents. They're learned abilities. And emotional competencies is something that you can deliberately acquire with practice. There are 5 domains. You probably heard of them: self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills. So going back to the pioneer, Daniel Goleman, he was a pioneer in introducing emotional intelligence concepts to the public. He said that if your emotional abilities are not enhanced, if you don't have self-awareness, if you're not able to manage your distressing emotions, and if you can't have empathy and have effective relationships, then no matter how smart you are, you're not going to go very far in life. And that's what he said. And I think it's really, really important to remember that bigger reason why we're learning the skills on a daily basis when it feels really hard is because we'll be stuck forever. So let's start. I will tackle a couple of competencies today, actually 3. We'll tackle self-regulation, we'll tackle social skills, as well as self-awareness. So let me start with self-regulation. Let me show you a coffee cup. I hope you all got some coffee in your blood to get through this training today. So here is a coffee cup. So imagine you're holding a coffee cup. When somebody comes along and bumps into you, making you spill your coffee everywhere, okay? Why did you spill the coffee? What do you guys think? You can put it in the chat box. Why did you spill the coffee? Any ideas? And Julia, you can read up. It was unexpected, Marco. Okay.
Yeah, not me.
Yeah.
It's him to blame.
Mm-hmm.
My case was because he pushed me.
Yep.
Surprise. Mm-hmm. What can be the reasons for spilling the coffee? Give us some more. Nah, nothing else.
All right. So why did you spill the coffee? You spilled the coffee because there was coffee in your cup. Had there been tea in the cup, you would have spilled tea. So the point is, whatever is inside the cup is what will spill out. And think about it. We're talking about self-regulation, self-control. How can we not react to certain situations at work? How can we not react to specific people at work that drives us crazy, right? So it doesn't matter whether you constantly, bumped into. It's the coffee that will spill out. So when life comes and shakes you, and it will happen, and you know it. So whatever is inside of you will spill out. So it's always easy to say that, well, because I was bumped into, because it was something that's outside of my control. But in reality, it is in your control, knowing, having that self-awareness. What's that coffee? What's that inside of me? That's every time that my life shakes you or some situations at work shake you, what really spills out? Because trust me, if they were not your coworkers at work that drive you crazy, it will be your children. If not children, it will be your neighbor's dog. Somebody will always drive you crazy, and you will always say, well, but that's the children, or that's the dog that's barking too loud. So it is really easy to fake it until you rattle it. So I also have this interesting Chinese story to mention. It goes like this. So once upon a time in China, a man on a horse rode past a man standing on the side of the road. And the standing man asked, "Rider, where are you going?" And the man on the horse answered, "I don't know." Ask the horse. "So why did the coffee spill?" "I don't know." Ask the horse. This story provides an amazing metaphor for our emotional life. So the horse represents our emotions, and we usually feel compelled by our emotions, right? We feel we have no control over the horse or over coffee in the cup. And if we let it take us whenever it wants to go, fortunately, we won't be very happy, right? So we first need to understand, to answer the question, how can we not react? How can we learn this self-regulation, self-control? You need to first understand what's in that cup. What's driving you crazy? What's that trigger? If your trigger that you're late for work for whatever reason, right? Whether the bus or train was late, or maybe you overslept, and you come into work and people are bombarding you with all of these requests, how can you make sure that you don't really spill out on people that don't really deserve it? It's you. It's happening with you. What can we possibly do? What do you think? We
I
come to
think, Ksenia, this is a great question for, we have some Agile professionals here, I think.
Mhm.
This is another metaphoric question which we can ask on our retrospective meetings for the ones who don't know what it is. This is a big part of the Agile game, making the meetings with your team and talking about the past, what we learned, what worked, what didn't work. And I think we can make a beautiful story of asking people, what is today in your cup? You know, what is inside? What is it for a drink? Because people, they are usually not very easy to talk about emotions, but when you ask this very creative questions, it's much easier.
And you know
So
why? You know why it's not easy for people to talk about their emotions? Because we automatically assume that people should know what's going on with us. And that's where we make this mistake. People don't know. I have no idea what's going on with people sitting at the conference table with me unless they share it. You know, you can say, "Listen, I was late to catch the bus today. I'm a little bit disheveled. You know, I'm a little bit overwhelmed. Let me collect myself. Give me 10 minutes. That's it. People will know. People will respect it. Hopefully, they'll respect it. They will not bombard you with questions. Or the same goes the other way around. When we come back home from work and we're tired, and sometimes, you know, we lash out onto our partners and children and, you know, whoever you live with, right? Instead of saying, "Listen, I had a really tough day at work. Give me 10 minutes to collect myself. I'll be there." That actually prevents those 10 minutes when you collect yourself, prevents you become more self more regulating of yourself. You become self-controlled because you talk about it. It also is a matter of communication, because otherwise the coffee cup will always be spilled. There will always be something. Somebody will always be bumping into you. But your responsibility is not that somebody bumps. Your responsibility is what spills out. So one of the, again, life hacks, right? We're all looking for specific actionable items in our lives. What we can do, we can read about emotional intelligence. We can read about agile management and all the principles, but it really comes down to the small practices. So one of the things is, please know your triggers. Just even now, sit down and think for yourself. You can put it in the chat box. What really drives you crazy? Where do you usually snap? Compulsively snap. You can say, yes, it was an annoying coworker asking me for some unrealistic goals. That's really easy to say and actually transfer the responsibility of your coffee onto somebody else. But think
Let's
about it.
write in the chat, when was the last moment we were splitting our hot coffee to actually people we usually love or respect? And I can say, Ksenia, I need to express gratitude for this tool, because I'm Russian, so I'm a super emotional. My coffee is super hot. So it's a burning coffee. And, you know, every time now when I feel like saying something in WhatsApp group where I work with amazing people, which constantly drive me crazy, and I drive them crazy as well. Every time I start typing a message which involves some, you know, emotional communication, maybe slightly negative or skeptical, I see myself with a huge pot of coffee, you know, pouring the hot coffee on their bodies. And I'm like, no, I actually love these people. We're a team. So, you know, let me relax. And also, of course, in family life. So once I open my big mouth to say something to my daughters, you know, I imagine the hot pot again. And I don't want these little angels to be burned by my coffee. So I better.
These people don't deserve it. Exactly. We spill ourselves out on somebody else because we lack self-control. And self-control, sometimes all it takes is just to take the deep breath before you lash out, before you compulsively say something that you'll regret later. You just take a deep breath. You say, okay, this is how you regulate, right? This is how our children regulate themselves. You know, they either scream and they don't know how to do it, and then we teach them, like, listen, just take a deep breath. You don't have to go frantic about it. Just take a deep breath. So taking a deep breath and knowing your triggers is the best thing you can do. If you just walk away today with one tool and you forget all the others, just remember to breathe. Because it is really impossible to people ask, how can I possibly not scream? How can I possibly not become angry? You will become angry, and that's normal. Sometimes, you know, our life, you know, annoys the hell out of us. But just breathe and take a break, and then know your triggers. If you know that your boss in the morning meetings will scream, what can you do to prevent that reaction of yours? What can you do? Just sit and breathe. Okay, he's screaming. There's something going on with him. It's not about me. We'll talk about social skills and empathy. This is another tool I'm actually introducing it to right now as we move from, you know, self-regulation to social skills. We take everything personally. Sometimes people have really tough mornings, tough days, because something happened in their lives. But we take it so personally. What's wrong? Why is it me that's affected? Well, you allow that to affect you, but sometimes it's just that angry boss, something going on, and this is when you become empathetic. Empathy is one of the skills that you can develop. He's just angry. It's not about me right now. Let him come down, then I'll speak. Because if you think about it, when we're emotionally charged, our logical side of the brain shuts down. We can't really think straight when we are emotionally charged. So first, you need to calm yourself down. Then you can produce some wonderful thoughts and responses, right? So since we moved to social skills, communication skills, you probably all know that successful leaders are able to meaningfully communicate with others. And what does it mean to really communicate? What does it mean to talk effectively? Well, first of all, we need to learn to be good listeners. You probably heard of active listening. So when somebody's screaming, we're not really actively listening, right? So we are processing information in a very different and sometimes not very productive way. So to communicate effectively, you first have to listen to what others have to say, because then you can provide a thoughtful answer. Because, you know, a lot of times we listen to respond. We don't really listen to understand. And that's the problem. While somebody's talking, we're already forming some ideas. What am I going to say? But instead, just sit back, relax, and listen. You will have that minute to collect your thoughts. Nobody's rushing you. You don't have to respond right away. You can say, okay, let me think about it for a second while you're processing the information that you received from the speaker or from your coworker or from your employer, your boss. right? Because sometimes I feel the problem is that we live our lives, we're like trains, you know, we are just going too fast without even stopping. But emotional intelligence means being mindful, being aware what's going on. So imagine the meeting at work and somebody's screaming, somebody's not happy. So you breathe, you relax, and you listen. You become empathetic. Oh, wow, somebody's going through a really hard time. Listen, then collect your thoughts. And these are real life hacks. Just take a break, process information, and then respond. Okay? So you just have to slow down to do it. Also, you need to learn the basics of nonverbal communication. Sometimes, and not sometimes, all the time, people communicate with us through nonverbal cues. It's not really what people say, but how they present themselves, their body language, their facial expressions. Always take it into consideration. But if you are in your thoughts, you can't really slow down and watch the other person, right? So in order to communicate clearly and confidently, adopt proper posture, sit straight. People will actually look at you a little bit differently if you, instead of, you know, sitting like this and relaxing and being closed up. It is really, really important to remember. So just be aware of how you're slouching or you really, you know, when we slouch, we really make ourselves appear small than you really are. So fill up your space that you're given. Another really important tool that you can have and use at work is ask for honest feedback. We're really not that self-aware as we think we are. Being self-aware meaning knowing your strengths, your weaknesses, your values. And sometimes it's hard to know because natural talents, when we are naturally talented at something, it is really hard to even imagine that it is our strength. So at work, one of the best things you can do is ask for feedback and then give feedback. Have that environment. Like Julia, you were saying the agile environment is about people, right? It's a big emphasis on people. So when you ask for feedback, this is where you learn. Sometimes feedbacks will be negative, but you can grow from them, right? But you have to initiate it. You have to ask because I bet you want to be better at what you already do. So ask for critical feedback and don't forget to give critical feedback. You know, form that relationship with someone. And then once the time comes, you can say, listen, you know, you're good at A, B, and C. But what I'm noticing that if you've done X, Y, and Z, you would be so much better at that. So always welcome feedback and provide feedback as well. We're all social creatures. We help each other grow. So this
Yeah,
is
we had coffee, and now we need to give the sandwich to our audience. So you remember it with symbols. So we were talking with Ksenia about feedback, and there are wrong ways of giving it and right ways of giving it. So I will tell how I see it, and Ksenia, correct me if I'm wrong. So when you want to share something, first of all, the feedback needs to be constructive. So if a person cannot change it, then it's better not really to concentrate on that, right? So it's something he can at least make better or a little bit different. Secondly, make a hamburger, make a sandwich, make a hot dog. Always put a nice slice of bread, recognize a person, make a compliment, say something good. Then inside of it, you can put a raw meat, like real critics, something which doesn't work, something, well, negative, something maybe hard, but it's a raw slice of bread, but always cover your sandwich with another nice slice of bread, saying something good, you know, cheering a person up. In this way, a person is more open to accept your feedback. Yes, he's not closing his perception, and also it's not so painful to him. So, you know, you do it in a delicate way. So get your coffee and then a sandwich, and then it's a nice metaphor already to grow a little bit in terms of your EQ.
Yes. So going back, that is all correct. The sandwich and coffee is great. So again, to remind you guys, the reason why we need to ask for feedback is to bring up our self-awareness. And self-awareness is one of the competencies of emotional intelligence. So self-awareness encompasses strengths and weaknesses, your goals. Maybe you are not really clear on your goals. Maybe you sometimes wonder What am I even doing in this company? And that is actually a good question for you. If you're looking to be happier at work, you need to ask yourself that question. Are you there just to get through the day and, have that 9 to 5? Or are you there to really make a difference and influence with what the company is doing, right? If you guys watch the Game of Thrones, it's been super, super popular, a couple of years ago here in the States. And remember that small guy, the midget, Tyrion Lannister? He actually said, "Let me give you some advice, bastards. Never forget who you are. The rest of the world will not. Wear it like armor, and it can never be used to hurt you." To take that aphorism into and apply into your own life, if you know what you're good at, then if somebody gives you feedback about what you can improve, you're like, okay, you'll wear yourself like an armor. You will not get upset about it because you know what you're good at. You cannot be perfect, right? So this is something to always remember. How to be happier at work, to really know your goals. What are you there in that company for, right? It actually prevents burnout as well. Burnout is this, emotional exhaustion that we have, not just emotional, physical exhaustion from work. That's one thing. Be clear on your goals. What are you doing in that company? Second one is to really know your strengths. I had an amazing team of people that I trained in one of the companies. And this lady, she loved the company, she loved the culture of the company, but she was just so unhappy and she really couldn't understand why. So once we sit down to figure out, what her strengths and weaknesses are, she realized that the position that she was holding, she wasn't really using her strengths. She had amazing presentation skills. She had amazing people skills, but she was doing a lot of technical work. Of course, you will be miserable. So it was really hard for her to pinpoint. So what happened was once you figure out what those strengths are, she actually transferred to another department within that company. And now she's doing what she's good at. Sometimes it's such a simple shift. So being self-aware, again, just know your strengths. And if you're not really using them at work, you are never going to be happy because certain things come natural to us. You got to use them. This is what makes you you. So this is one of the things. Please, maybe it's going to be one of your part of your homework. I'm not sure what Julia is giving you today, but just sit down and write down what you're really good at. Ask friends, ask coworkers, ask anyone who you surrounded by, what's my strengths? What do you see in me? And see if you're actually applying those skills at work.
And Ksenia, I see a perfect image now of me standing in a beautiful armor, knowing who I am, what are my strengths, holding coffee and a sandwich or a hot dog. And I can say what you say really resonates quite a lot because especially for me, being a very, emotional woman, it's very important to self-regulate. And, your secret question or magic question, what am I doing here? What's my goal? It's a really eye-opening one in the situation when you're under stress. Again, if you're into some teamwork and you need to write something in WhatsApp and you're definitely under pressure and tired and exhausted and most probably angry at your teammates, before writing it, ask yourself, okay, before actually understanding what should I write or how should I write, why should I write it? What's my purpose here? Is my purpose to train a social skill, for example, patience or understanding, or is it my target to go until the very end, notwithstanding any difficulties? Or it is my target, to launch a great project. That is why I'm okay to tolerate whatever. I just want a great product or service. This really helps, to calm down for me. That's a magic question indeed. A little
And
weapon.
somebody in chat box, Jamie, is saying that these instances of being self-aware and being open to receive constructive assessment of our strengths can also be improved by many of us remembering to check our egos when we walk through the door in the morning at our jobs. That is true. If we are there in the company to help each other grow, right, then we got to put our egos aside. It's all right to listen to some constructive feedback for as much as it is negative. But if a person has really kind intentions, I'll take it. I'll take it. I need it. Yes, I'll sleep on it. It might hurt, but then it's necessary. Otherwise, we are never becoming self-aware. We're never becoming how people see us and what they see in us. And it's super, super important. Yes, egos. That's right. Sometimes our egos are through the roof. That we're all perfect and we don't need to change. We're already as good as we are. All right. Now, Julia, what questions do you have in terms of self-regulation tools, self-awareness tools, and social skills in terms of communication? Ask me some questions so we can come up with very concrete life hacks for
Yeah, if
our
anybody in the room
career
have
people.
certain questions, you maybe have had a certain situation at work or in personal life, you can also shoot your questions in the
Mhm.
messenger. I have a big question to Ksenia. What to do? Because there are two types of emotions for me. Yeah, there is something we talked about. When you're totally angry, when you're furious, you are burning, there is a flame. You know, they say that aggression and anger is actually a very good emotion because it is driving us to action. We can convert it to sports, we can convert it to achievements, we can convert it to any action. You know, we
Absolutely.
just need to learn to direct it. But there is another side of me, of the game at work. You know, these days, when you're not angry because you don't have energy to be angry, you're super exhausted, you're tired, you don't want anything, you don't understand anything, you just want to hide from everything, and you procrastinate or you do things, but you know, not in a good way because you just don't have energy. We
Mhm.
call it burnout syndrome. It may not be burnout, it can be just occasional mood swing, melancholy, you know, kind of a little bit daily depression. What to do in these days when you don't feel like doing anything, but you must, because you have some obligations, deadlines, your boss, your team expecting something from you.
So, Julia, what you're asking me is that when I wake up in the morning and I'm so exhausted from my life and I still have to go to work, what do we do? You know, besides pouring coffee and having a sandwich? All right. So, what do we do?
Exactly.
Well, first of all, it's actually amazing that you already noticed that you're so exhausted that you can't really get up and do what you need to do. This is the first sign of burnout. But the problem is we push ourselves so hard to continue doing that we really exhaust our resources. Well, in that case, I mean, what can you do? You remember your goal. What are you here for? Yes, I don't want to get up. Yes, I don't really want to do anything. But what's my goal in life? Right? You kind of have to bring yourself back to that bigger reason why. And it really goes for anything. You know, some people start working out in the beginning of each year and then they stop because, they can really push themselves. But if you think about it, yes, I'm there in my bed on a Sunday morning. I really cannot get up. But what's my bigger reason why? Why do I really need to go and exercise? It is because I want to have some energy during the day to do X, Y, and Z, right? So for that, yes, you will not have anybody to motivate you that morning. You will not have anybody physically drag you out of bed, but you just have to remember and if you cannot find the answer, then it's really time for you to sit down and really restructure your life and see where you can delegate, why are you getting tired, what's that coffee that's constantly spilling out, right? So yeah, remembering that bigger reason why. Again, it is a self-awareness part, and it is about the goals and values. And if you value, for example, growth, then yeah, I am tired, but I still have to go to work because I will grow there professionally. That's a good enough motivation for the morning.
I love it. I love it concentrating on not what I don't want to do, but what would I get, what I'm winning if I'm actually doing that. For me, something very eye-opening was that every time we say yes to something, we say no to something. So every time our boss asks us to make a report, you know, in the middle of the night, we say no to our health, or we say no to quality communication with our partner or with kids or anything else. But also, you know, when I feel like, okay, I will say yes to my weakness, I will say yes to staying in the bed, not doing something I promised, or in a qualitative way, okay, I will pamper myself, which sometimes is also an option. Sometimes we need to be kind to ourselves before we
Sometimes is a keyword, right?
sometimes
is a keyword.
sometimes, you know, when it's
Yes.
already, you know, such a limit. But then I'm saying, okay, I'm saying yes to, I know, staying in bed, not picking up the phone, not replying the email, not doing my work. But this, yes, it says no to what? It maybe says no to some successful project launch. It says no to respect from my fellow colleagues. It says no to good trust relationships with my boss next time, and so on, so on. So every time you say no, think what are you getting? And every time you say yes, just check what you're losing. Yeah. I don't know if I made it right. Quite difficult, but I hope you
No,
get my.
you made sense, but what's your question about it? Unless you don't have a question.
No questions so far. I think we can keep going if we don't have any questions in the chat.
Yeah, and Avnish just mentioned that Zoom fatigue is the other issue. Yes, we are exhausted. We are exhausted. We're not designed. Again, think about it. The way we interact with other people, it's not just the words, it's not just the face that we're getting information from, it's our entire body. So imagine our brain has to work triple the amount what we're used to when we're actually working with people face to face to detect what the person is saying. You really have to strain yourself to look at the Zoom, to look at all the faces. It's double work, it's triple work. So Zoom fatigue is real. You know, we shouldn't deny it. It is really hard for us, for humans, to function this way. So the only thing that you can do is, you know, you can turn the Zoom off, right? Our work these days, especially in the past year, has been on, you know, through Zoom, which is great. But try to spend time with people that you already have, and if you in your family at home, so you can actually be with someone. And also another thing is try to, let's say, if you have a team, right? Ask people to not just show their faces, but also show their bodies and hands. That helps. Then you at least will see half of your body.
Well, technically, that's not possible with my camera to show my body, and I didn't get prepared in my pajama actually. But
Yeah.
but I have a life hack here as well. First of all, if you're tired from Zoom, tell it to people who want to Zoom with you. Telephone. It's a great invention we have forgot. Our brain indeed is getting tired by, you know, watching somebody's face expression, and actually, you know what it does? It tries to understand, okay, is it fake or it's not fake? Is it a real person there or it's not? And actually, I wanted to say about the backgrounds. While I'm using the official Agile 20 Reflect background, because, you know, I wanted to remember the fest, but it's not a good way to do, because the brain is actually tapped into a question, okay, the environment is fake, yeah, it's kind of a not real picture, but is that girl real? You know, is that woman telling the truth? So it's double pressure. So if you do Zoom, make it natural. And now knowing that there's so many filters, lamps and whatever, our brain is, you know, under pressure. That is why if you're tired from Zoom, tell it to your team. Say, hey guys, no Zoom to me. Let's do a WhatsApp call. Let's not use video. You know, sometimes we're shy doing that, but, you know, also in Zoom, what happens? We look at ourselves when we talk, right, Ksenia? We do, because we want to be beautiful. Yeah. And, you know, it's an extra task. So use telephone, use old good emails, WhatsApp, recording audio messages, but just tell it. And one more thing which works for me, two more things. First of all, changing the Zoom environment. So if you're tired sitting in your little office with Zoom from morning until evening, go to a cafe, go to a beach, go to a park where it still makes sense and it's not too noisy with your headphones. You know, new atmosphere, new sensual, new visual background, new smells, anything. And also another one, stand up. try to make 1-2 Zoom calls. I don't know how many you have, standing and actually, moving a little bit. It will change something. It will definitely build new neurons, and your brain will wake up a little bit. So entertain yourself. I entertain myself quite a lot with Zoom,
But then,
and
Julia, I have a question for you. What if people work in cubicles, right? People used to work in cubicles before the pandemic struck. So imagine we're constantly sitting in the same space for days and months and years. Our brain goes nuts. Our
Mhm.
brains go crazy. So what can we do there in our cubicle to not have that fatigue? Do we change flowers around if we have flowers, or like what can we do to spice it up a little bit? When you're home, yes, you can move from room to room or go outside and be on the balcony, if your house and apartment allows. But what if there is no such chance? What else can we rearrange on our desk not to get tired?
Well, I think they're doing that already. This is why people are bringing their plants, their flowers, burning the candles with a specific aroma. I don't know, listening to music, setting up a very comfy chair with a blanket for some sensual softness. We need to feel what our actually bodies want. Yeah. And I'm always very, very boring. But if you feel that you're tired from your Zoom, just get a glass of water, because it may be that your brain is dehydrated. You know my story, Ksenia. I'm
Yes.
always talking about the old, good, boring water, but if we do not fix it, we don't fix anything, because our brain is water, not anything else, and electricity. And you remember from physics, electricity works very well when there is plenty of water. There is an interesting comment, Ksenia. Can you
Yeah,
read?
Jamie, right? Jamie said about Zoom fatigue. So Jamie said that Zoom fatigue is an incredibly interesting phenomenon to me. While most of the world can easily rationalize binge watching the endless hours TV series, they suddenly develop a fatigue to a different alternative to communication. I'm not judging, I just find it very fascinating.
Isn't
It's
it?
a really good question, Jamie. And the first thing that comes to mind, Zoom fatigue and watching TV, the brain does completely different things. Here we're working, we're focusing, we are intellectually working, trying to understand certain things. Where when we're watching TV series, it's just like an auto
Passive,
mode, right?
passive
We don't
consumption
have
of
to really,
information. Mm-hmm.
there is information, but we don't really have to process it in an intellectual way. I think that's the biggest difference why people get tired, because it is really work when it comes to Zoom fatigue.
And hey, we're getting so tired after watching the series. Sometimes I feel exhausted after watching, a few series of Desperate Housewives, as if I've been working on a factory.
And you don't need to talk when you're binge watching TV. Exactly. We have to do so much when we are with people on Zoom that we don't really do it, when we're watching TV. I think that's the biggest difference. It's in the action. The actions are different. So I hope I answered your
Yeah. So
question.
icebreaker exercises before you start your meeting. Oh, I have one.
Yeah.
And I'm always
Okay, share
sharing.
one.
Yeah, hands up. You cannot see my hands because of the background. Hands up. So when they were doing research on animals, specifically monkeys, chimpanzees, and also the sport people who are winning the Olympics, they actually discovered that our body for animals and for people moves in the same way. When we're winning, when we're achieving, when we are happy, we do what? We put our hands up. Oh, you cannot see that. So
Right.
very, very up. So before you have a Zoom meeting, just stretch yourself, put your hands up, because then there will be hormones which are responsible for success, achievement, action, leadership, power, all these things we actually need a little bit when we're on Zoom. So it will make you strong, it will empower you. And this is why we feel so good when we're dancing, for example, or we do some aerobic classes. Well, that's of course blood pressure and oxygen which comes to our brain because of physical activity. And yes, I'm boring again. To avoid Zoom fatigue, you need to do some exercise. You need to, I don't know, have a little dance in between the meetings, or go down for a short walk, or I don't know, do whatever. But you need to drive the oxygen to your brain. But also it's because, physically, your brain is programmed into success when you put your hands up. So hands up, guys. That's
yeah,
the thing.
yeah, that's a good one. Avnish, to answer your question about the icebreaker, we also need to know what's the purpose of the icebreaker. Do we need to get people to participate together? Do we want them to relax before delivering some, hard news about some, financial goals that the company put on you? It really depends what it is. But for example, one of the icebreakers that I used for corporate teams when I worked with them was I would actually stream YouTube videos for them. I would share screen with them and they would dance to that music together. It can just be somebody would get up and dance and somebody would just, clap their hands to the music. So that creates that sense of camaraderie. It creates the sense of we're here together. We just listen to the music. It really, really makes you feel good. And another one, for example, if you are there to deliver harsh news, something that people might get upset about, so then the goal of an icebreaker is to relax them. So I actually ask people to draw something, to doodle something before, people are joining in. So they can actually sit and not necessarily draw their emotions. They can just relax. It's a very creative activity that relaxes your brain. Or you can do some breathing exercises. Again, just think about the goal that you have for icebreaker. So yeah, involving your body is the best one, just like Julia.
Ksenia, I think we may have a question from Clubhouse. Let's test it. Natalia, are you with us? Do you have a certain question or comment? Yeah, the connection is not good enough. Can you try it one more time?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we do.
Perfect, thank you. So I just wanted to chime in 2 points. First is, I guess the self-reflection that we constantly going through when we're Zooming is adding to fatigue and to tiredness, because we always try to, keep ourselves because others sees us and, do our best. So this feeling of self-control, trying to, project self-confidence is adding to fatigue. And also for the icebreaker thing, Annie, the Harvard professor, says that there are 2 points in initial communication between people. So you have to project warmth and confidence, because warmth is about the trustworthiness. So other people understand whether we are, have good intentions toward them and whether we can keep up with those intentions. So that's where we have like those dancing, as you mentioned. So all these icebreakers work toward making our counterparts confident in our good intentions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is the beauty, of online. So Natalia, I don't know, where is joining us from Tampa Bay area, and she's an expert actually in neuroeconomics and sustainability and culture and marketing. And I'm so happy, meeting random people somewhere in Clubhouse or Zoom or Facebook. Thank you so much. I'm not very good, Natalia, in Clubhouse. So can you keep your microphone off? Oh, I think you did it. So I do agree with all these points. Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing. We have some more questions.
Question in the chat box from Maria. She's asking, how can you get people to participate more in the meeting without putting them on the spot? Okay, that's a really good question. So what I usually do is in the very beginning of the meeting, you first of all ask how people are feeling. And some people will say, I have a horrible headache today. Right. So then you keep in mind, if you're the one who's running the meeting, then you keep in mind, okay, that person, I need to take, to be easy on them, for example. So you first have to kind of get to know what's happening with the group, right? And then you can actually ask that today, I would not want to put you on the spot. You're just being honest. It's called direct communication. I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but I would really, really appreciate your participation. And if I feel like nobody's participating, do you mind if I call certain people? Some people will say, oh no, don't touch me today. I have a horrible headache. fine. But then if some people are okay with that, but you have to just warn them that this is exactly what you'll be doing and ask for their permission. That actually creates a very safe environment. So then people don't react to it that you put them on a spot. They just said, okay, this is the agenda of the meeting that we will all be participating. And if you're incapable today, let me know. That's it. It's just through direct communication. I know
But I
people,
think they also want to feel important and of value and needed. So for this, I would say tired people or shy people or introverted people, you can assign the task of, I don't know, putting the records, the minutes of the meeting. So now that, so they know their quiet role, which actually makes sense and is important. We have another question, Ksenia, daily stand-up in Agile is, a very nice thing where the team meets just for a very short time, 5, 10, 15 minutes a day, if I'm not mistaken. And people are sharing what they're doing, what are the blockers, what's up. And we have a comment, and I went it through myself actually as an employee, part of an Agile team, that, people, they don't want it. They say, it's a waste of time. I don't want to report. I don't want to actually know what they're doing. I have my piece of cake to do, and that's it. What worked for me, I can answer already, is that we made this gratitude thing. So we told that it's not so much about updating who's doing what, but sharing gratitude and sharing good words to each other. So if there was something you spotted that somebody did, really, really well, you pronounce it. And of course, people, they're always very, very eager to hear good words about themselves, some appraisal, recognition, things like that. That, spiced it up a little bit. So it's not like an obligation, but something truly positive. But of course, we also talk the business issues. But I don't know the magic pill here. So Ksenia, what would you?
my question for agile managers and people that work in the agile environment, are these daily stand-ups a must? I'm just
Well, they are part of the, I would say, the way agile teams work. I don't think nothing is like a must in
okay,
agile.
but what's the purpose of it? Okay, what's the purpose of it then?
The purpose is to make everybody. You can help me guys in the chat, but for me, the purpose is to communicate, to address issues, ask for help, also share best practices and successes. So because the worst is that something happens and then nobody knows, and actually there's always somewhere in the team who can help. And so it's to work together to kind of visualize what is happening. So we're using the Kanban board with the stickers, but this is for me kind of an oral visualization, what is up, what is happening. So this is for all team members to know what's up, what's happening.
Okay,
I love them personally.
yeah, so I guess to answer your question, Avnish, about this, how do I address that? I guess we first have to ask everybody on the team, why they're so averse to it? What is it that they don't like? And come up with the alternative. Because since you are all a team, you're working together, you're sharing things with one another. I'm sure there are other ways, but you first have to understand and address what it is that's behind it. What is it that's behind this will of doing this daily stand-ups? You call it daily scrums, right? Yeah, first address the reason why. What's wrong with that? Maybe you'll hear really legitimate reasons, and then you can brainstorm and compromise and do something else.
Well, we have a professional discussion on going there. I'm so happy we have you there. So I do agree. It's all about the
I'm reading
right
that.
environment, psychological safety, and usually when people in my experience, if they don't want doing something, you need to make them think that they are the ones who actually decided to do something and invent something. So maybe do a brainstorming where when they will come with an idea, what's the meeting like, what's the structure, when is it? So it's their product. So they create it from themselves. So it's not coming from top to down, something which is obligatory, but something, they discovered, developed, and they want to do it. So good. We have some more insights in the chat, but Ksenia, we need to go further. We need to tell so many things, right?
No, I think I covered what I wanted to bring to you today. You know, self-awareness, strengths and weaknesses, and how to be happier at work, as well as self-regulation, self-control. And
So do you want me to share my homework?
sure.
Oh, are you ready, guys?
I think there were some questions here. Hold on one second. Julia, Jamie said, beyond the icebreaker, how do we invite colleagues to be more honest? Is this question still valid? Do you still need an answer? Because I can't keep up with with the conversation that you're all having.
I think, yes, this is nice. I think that honesty is a great weapon. Nowadays, you know, with the fake news and the filters, honesty is something which really works. So,
but if you think about it, imagine if I said something honestly once in the team and somebody really put me down. Yes, next time I'm not going to be honest. I will have the participation anxiety. So I think it's up to the leader, it's up to the employer or the speaker, whoever is leading the team, is to say and actually mention if the person, he or she, hears that somebody's putting somebody down, say, hey, this is not a value. We're here to respect each other, just to remind them. You know, sometimes, again, people just react to certain things without even having that intention to put anyone down, right? So, yeah, I mean, to create that camaraderie that we're here to grow. And it's not allowed. It's against our values. We were here to respect each other. So please be an active listener. Just listen to what somebody has to say. You might disagree with that, but you have no right to attack that person.
I think that's a lot of talking, explaining, and also if some people don't want to share, you know, honest, direct feedback in the group, I think we need to respect their level of, you know, being brave and open, and then I think the leader can organize also one-on-one feedback sessions. And I remember when we worked, Ksenia, in Mars Incorporated, definitely American company, best place to work. We had this 360-degree feedback procedure. So just in case me and you, we are collaborating on a project and something goes wrong, you know, what you say and what you do doesn't really feel good for me, the feedback needs to be instant. But one of the rules there was that the feedback needs to be very personal. So I cannot share it really in the team and in the group if it's a real serious issue. Yeah, if we talk openly about something which involves the whole team and it's a mutual discussion, yes. But if it's something very personal and private, so it's instant, so as soon as possible you can set up the meeting, you do it one-on-one. And actually I think this individual sessions can help. So homework time. So
everybody's asking for homework. Yes, Jamie, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys, for being with us.
Yes,
what I prepared the file for you. I will send the Google Drive link, but of course I want you to write, because as a neuroscientist, I know what happens to your brain when you're writing. You know, we shouldn't forget the micromotorics. We need to cook, we need to sew, we need to knit, we need to draw, paint, you know, write more and more, because we need the neurons and neuron connections going there, you know, to prolong our Alzheimer to come to us a little bit later. So if we are in the situation where we emotionally don't feel, you know, 10 points out of 10, there is no balance, we don't feel fully happy at work, or we think they're not doing things efficiently, or we have some communication gap with our colleagues, we can take a piece of paper and we can divide it as a matrix into 4 squares. The first column will be me, and the second column will be others. So it's all about me versus others. So there are things which we're doing, these are the actions, and then there are things which are being, our traits, characteristics, and qualities. So let's start from the first block. We will talk about me, and we will talk about actually doing. So you know, make a nice cup of coffee that you're not planning to spill, you know, get a good glass of water also to hydrate your brain, and then you think, okay, I want to understand myself, because we with Ksenia, we had a chat and we understood that, you know, if you cannot understand yourself, how can you understand your boss? How can you understand your team, your subordinates, your partners, stakeholders, neighbors, dogs, guinea pigs, whatever? the story, the empathy, the emotional intelligence always starts with understanding me, myself, and I. So you sit back and then you make kind of a retrospectives actually in Agile language, and you ask yourself, okay, what do I really like doing to other people or for other people or with other people? What do I often do to other people, like the frequent activities? And the hint phrase here is I always, for example, I always say good things to people, or I always support them when they feel sad. So you need to analyze yesterday or this week or in the recent, month, what you've been actively doing to people and for people. Why you should analyze your actions? Because we go here. For example, it can be, I like bringing little everyday gifts to my colleagues, chocolate, coffee, or, a little candle. I often write words of recognition to my colleagues in the emails. Wow, this is great. You really did a great job. Or I always share Facebook posts of my friends to promote their little businesses. Well, that's my case. And then you come up to one thing. Jumping not in a very nice way, but let me do this way. These things answer the question. This is actually what I need. I need it most. This is what I'm lacking. This is what I'm missing. This is what I want other people to do for me. And then you can start it with a feeling you have if you're not getting it. So let's say we had an example, above 3 examples. So I feel lonely and I feel that I'm not accepted when it's only work relationships in my team. So I would be happy if my colleagues would occasionally make little personal gestures of attention to me, bring a chocolate, make me a tea, little, signs of attention. Or I feel I'm not doing the things right when no one appreciates my job and they don't say anything if I do something. So I would like my boss and my team support me with saying if they like what I do and make a compliment to me from time to time. Or I feel I'm doing something wrong when none of my friends reposts my Facebook posts about my business or my project. And I'd be very happy if they occasionally share, like, or at least comment what I'm doing. So if you're helping people, it means that you're in the position that you are the one who needs help. If you are trying, to generously care about everybody in the team, putting a warm sweater, bringing coffee, checking if somebody is not forgetting something from the agenda, care. It means you are seeking for this care. You need this care. You have a deficit of it. Yeah, if you're, saying good words to people generously, it means that you want to receive these words. But here we need an action. Okay, I have a deficit. I have a certain need. I'm a little bit even overdoing it for our others because I'm screaming to them, hey, I need this. That is why I'm doing this for you. We can set some list of people we can talk to because we need to say what we need. Others, they may not know this, the mechanism, and they not guess we need something. So for example, it can be that, okay, I can speak to my boss and I can propose to make a little incentive in my team to reward each other with something little, to make it part of our team culture, and always say out how much I like it and say to people how good I feel when they do something for me. Or I can talk to my boss about, appraising me and rewarding me with something. So who are the people you can actually talk? Then another thing about me is not what I do, but it's about being. So what do I hate about other people? What do I really dislike in their behaviors, in their attitudes? Like, what is something which really drives me crazy and makes me mad? So these most probably are the things you have inside of you. So what we see in others, we most probably have in ourselves. So if somebody is constantly late or arrogant or, misses the deadlines, it means there's something inside of you which is also there. So either you have it the same, or you don't let yourself be this, and but you really waste a lot of energy fighting that part of you, and that is why you don't feel good when others have it. So with this, one thing already, one step is that you recognize it, you accept it. Yes, I am arrogant, or I may be arrogant, and yes, I have some difficult relationships with time, being late or coming in advance and actually not respecting my time waiting for 10 minutes, which is similar to being late. So what can I do about it? And there are different strategies. You can keep going, you just can accept it, or you can work with that. So this is all about me, myself, and I.
Yeah, this
So
is all about self-awareness, exactly.
yeah,
Everything
that's the self-awareness.
is self-awareness. It's not any woo-woo term as people tend to think. Self-awareness is very, very specific. And that's exactly what you're talking about right now.
Yes. So I just want guys to make some practical assignments after we finish today. So every time you don't like your boss, every time you hate your neighbor or a salesperson or a business partner, please try to change your mindset from I don't like him or I hate her to I don't actually like myself when I interact with this person, because he's just the mirror. He's just reflecting something to you, which most obviously you're not comfortable with. So this, I think, for me, very much relates with the even orthodox approach to actually loving people. So it's not something wrong with them, but me, myself, there is something about me why it makes me feel bad. So and when we analyze these things, we remember that, people sometimes they're not people, they're just mirrors, and it's so good we are actually having mirrors with different resolutions. And now we will quickly, without too many examples, jump into the others part. So this was how to understand yourself, but how can we understand others? Let's say we have a colleague, we have a team member, we have him in mind. For example, we're starting a new team and we need to quickly establish the relationships. So you can observe his actions and answer the question, what does he or what does she like doing for me or for other people, and what does he often do to me and other people? So what is he doing? Just scan his behaviors. What does he say? What does he do? Or also you can use the hint saying, oh, he's always doing that, or he's always saying that, so he's always behaving like that. So if he's doing that, most probably he wants his team members also do this to him. And we need to be generous, we need to give people what they need. So here we need to understand that these are the things he or she needs, and it may be he's currently lacking it. So I need to answer the questions, what can I do for him now, or what can I do for her now to cover, to satisfy the need? And you put the list of actions. I can start saying something to him, I can start doing something in regards to him. That's as easy. If we all would make this analysis for our husbands, wives, and partners, most probably we would really decrease the rate of people breaking up. Because very often the mistake is we do for other people what we want to have, but it's not for granted that they need it. That's the same with birthday presents. We usually make gifts which seem quite okay for us, for ourselves, but it may be that that's not the gift a person is actually waiting for. So we need to observe, we need to listen, we need to hear people, read between the lines, and understand their needs. So also, if you communicate with a person and you can see that he doesn't like something, he expresses a certain emotion, negative emotion. He says, oh, I hate this, or I I dislike this, that's driving me mad. It means there is something inside of him. He's struggling with that. You know, he doesn't like this, and he sees this his own reflection in other people.
Yeah, that's
So
a wonderful example of being empathetic. This is how we develop empathy. Instead of taking things personally, we just sit back and saying, okay, I think I understand what she's going through or he's going through. That's being empathetic. And if you catch yourself, this is actually maybe it can be part of your homework as well. If there's certain people that you have hard time understanding, meaning you have hard time being empathetic at that moment, there is some pain point in you that's so hard for you to realize. Certain behaviors, you know, behaviors of other people drive us crazy, right?
mhm.
We can take our time and understand and empathize with the person if we're willing to accept the same pain within ourselves. That's why it's so hard to be empathetic, because it says a lot about us as well. Just like Julie, you're saying, people do mirror us, and you're not taking it, you know, saying it lightly. It really means that. So it's actually a wonderful, you know, exercise to bring your self-awareness up. What is it that I don't like about the person? How come I have hard time understanding him? Then that pain is something that just might be a blind spot for you.
Yes, and also if, for example, well, I may remember example from my personal life. I had very difficult relationship with my boss when I was super young working in L'Oreal. And what he hated about me is that I was actually accidentally, I was very responsible. You know, I was a good girl, you know, making everything in time, being in time for work, doing everything in a perfect way. And that drove him mad. And then, you know, I think it was about 15, 20 years ago. I'm quite getting old. I cannot remember that. But I think, you know, I tried to recall this man. He was a great teacher to me. And honestly saying, he was like that. He was a good boy as well, you know, and that is why he saw the reflection and he just couldn't tolerate it, because I was just like him. And if I realized it many years ago, I wouldn't take it personally. I wouldn't cry in the toilet just between the presentations and working meetings. I would understand, yes, I make him feel some pain or some discomfort in himself when he collaborates with me. So here we need to recognize it, and we can also ask, okay, what can I do about it? Well, and what I don't have it here, but what helps me always, if a person has a certain, let's call it disadvantage, or I don't like to call it a disadvantage, but a certain trait, characteristic which you don't like. Yeah. For example, he's very demanding. He's very strict boss. He's very demanding. Then you always need to ask, okay, but what is the good side of it? You need to turn it out, because every disadvantage has a great advantage. You know, the crazy, weird people, they were genius artists. Yes, they were freaks. They were totally insane, but their art, it's amazing. It changed the world. And also, if he's super organized, demanding, and strict, most probably he's very responsible. You can rely on him. Or, you know, he's an achiever and he makes things right. Or a person, let's say, is I don't know, what could be the I think I only had demanding and super responsible colleagues. I cannot think of an example, but absolutely any quality can be converted to something very positive. And then, just to sum it up, let me make it smaller. Then you can learn being empathic by turning the story into hashtags. So if you understand what people are lacking and what they would like us to do with them, you can convert it to one word, to one hashtag, saying there's John, and he wants, you know, people to say if he's performing right and he does great projects. Most probably he needs attention, or maybe he needs more respect, or care, or love, acceptance, belonging, gratitude, support, trust, hugs, recognition, because, you know, the body contact, actually, it's also something very important. You know, some people, they're touching you. Most probably this is the marker that they like you. So if you don't like them touching you, you can, calm down, saying that, at least this is a signal, I'm accepted and loved. So maybe freedom, maybe autonomy, maybe feeling beautiful or young or having a certain status and power. So, after doing the exercise, look around the people around you, whether they're family members or you work in a team. And find a couple of words. Okay, this girl here, she really needs appreciation, and this person here, he wants attention, he feels lonely. Yeah, and this people here, he wants some love. Maybe there's a child trauma, or there's something ongoing in personal life, and we can share love even in a formal business way. Yeah, by accepting, by supporting, doing something together, saying good words. This is love. So yes, that's my message. I will send the Google Drive link in the chat now, and also as a post follow-up of the session together with the recording. Just give me some time, because my computer needs some time to get the recording and process it. So this is pretty much it. So an easy homework, yeah, not too many things to do, just 2 pieces of paper. Did we have something in chat? Because when I have a presentation, I don't have a chat.
I don't think we have any new questions. I looked through all of them. It seemed like people actually had conversation with one another while we were
Super.
they were
This is very
interacting.
nice.
But yes, please shoot us some questions, and if not, then we'll start wrapping it up. And
yeah, and if you don't have questions, can you write in the chat maybe 1, 2, 3 things which we reminded you? Obviously, we were talking about things so our objective was to share our experiences and just to remind you of the basics of emotional intelligence, because in the end, all the genius things are very simple, and I think Agile is already doing quite a lot in driving emotional intelligence with the team. So if we have professionals in Agile, you already are quite professional in that. So if you have some insights or some tool or maybe anything which popped up in your mind, or you want to share your own life hack on driving emotional intelligence, you can write in the chat.
Yeah, or how to be happier at work. Maybe you are one of those people who is really happy at work and loves what you do. Please share what tools do you use? How do you remind yourself? What helps you be happy at work? I think it's really, really important to share. And also, to conclude our session today, what I want to say is that if you are the sort of a person who believes that changing your personality or changing your behavior is not possible, that you can't really teach an old dog new tricks, you need to always remember that you can change yourself and you can change your approach, because you have this amazing brain that can do it for you. And it involves something that's called plasticity. And we all know about it. Just like Julija said, there is really nothing new out there. It's how we use these tools, how we understand these tools can be used to your advantage. Because every time new knowledge is acquired, the connections communicate differently, and through repetition they become faster, more efficient, and instinctive. So all these tools that you'll walk away with today, for as long as you practice them, you will become really, really agile, literally agile at it. And instead of having the reactions that how you would normally react to people that anger you, you might take a step back, just take a deep breath and say, okay, this is not about me. This is the person who is angry right now. And to Julia's point, what does that person need? Maybe the person just needs a hug. As simple as that. Maybe the person had a hard morning. We don't know what's happening with people. So for as long as we make our needs clear, for as long as we cannot assume what people need, we can just ask, okay, you have a headache right now. Is there anything you need? Just be in communication with one another. Agile is all about people. Emotional intelligence is people. So I think we just need to be a little bit more proactive, because we all have it within us. We all want the same thing. We want to be understood. We want to be heard. So we need to learn to understand and hear other people as well. So it all comes from us. It starts with us, right, Julija? When we were preparing the seminar, we said it. in order to, we cannot change other people, but we can change our reactions, we can change ourselves. And then we will actually change the mindset about situations at work and situations in our lives.
We have a very nice life hack from Dimitro. We have some Clubhouse people here. So my hint, which works well, is asking people what is the most important thing for them here. So this is again getting back to old good values. Yeah, what is important here for you? I love the formulation. I
Why
will
are you here? Exactly. Are you here just to make ends meet, that 9-to-5 job? Is there anything else that's important for you here? Yeah, sometimes it is really cool to have these conversations with, with our coworkers and our friends.
And then Thomas was writing to us that he's coming from Denmark, and this is one of the most happiest countries worldwide. So we need to ask you, Thomas, Danish guys, what are you doing there to be happy at work and out of work? Are you still with us?
Thomas, you have to give us some hints.
The secret. And guys, you can also go with your voice. We eat a lot of candy. Oh my goodness.
It's a lot of glucose, swooshing around.
But I have actually a life hack here. So it comes actually from raising children. So when you meet your children from school, most probably their lunch and snack time was some hours ago, which means that their blood sugar levels in brain as well are decreasing, which makes them more anxious, more stressful. So the first thing before you say hello to your kids, you need to give a slice of banana or a sweet fruit or a healthy sweet snack, whatever, because then the sugar levels will be up and then you can start the communication. This applies to personal life. So if your husband or wife are coming from a heavy working day, give them something to eat, to chew, and then start asking them how they are.
And what's interesting? What it reminds me, Julia? Growing up in Soviet Union, our parents and our grandparents were so adamant about not giving candies before the meal, which sometimes it's counterintuitive. Sometimes all they want, kids get really upset when they're hungry. So just a little bit of sugar, right? Like a little piece actually prevents them being angry. So I really don't know where our parents got that idea from, that no sugar before the meal, as if we're not going to eat afterwards.
So Sweden is there as well. So it seems that Sweden is eating a lot of candies as well. Yeah, and also alcohol. Yeah, well, this is not the best way to drive happiness. However, we're all people. But I didn't share with you a team life hack. I'm living in Mallorca, so we are happy to have fresh oranges here. Mm-hmm. And it's a nice thing to try. Before a meeting, peel the orange or a tangerine. So when they join the meeting, they have the smell. So believe it or not, but smells, they affect our brain activity in a very strong way. That is why we have aromatherapy and things like that in non-traditional medicine. So this smell will already make people, a little bit relaxed. So they trust each other. So they're more open. And when they eat orange, it is so rich in nutrients and it's so hydrating, and it has quite a lot of natural sugars. It will also, spice up their brain in a good way. Yeah, it will really make their bodies work properly on the meeting. So just, if you would take one of recommendation, just eat oranges on your retrospectives or daily stands up. Just try it.
That's great. Okay, it all comes down to sugar. Is that what we're saying? The agile and emotional intelligence, and it all came down to sugar.
Yeah, but the natural one. We make a propaganda of the natural one. So yeah, but we shouldn't forget the basics, good sleep, plenty of water, exercise, breathing. We can come to very complicated suggestions here, filling the Word documents. But if we're physically exhausted and our bodies are, on zero level of energy, we cannot do anything. The coaching.
People are asking for the books. To recommend books on subjects. I'm actually asking, specifically about emotional intelligence. The classic one is by Daniel Goleman. He was the pioneer who introduced public to the concept of emotional intelligence. So it's called Emotional Intelligence by Daniel Goleman. So that's a good one to start. I'll type it up here in the chat box.
And also 5 dysfunctions of a team is recommended by Avnish. Thank you so much. Haven't seen that one. The coaching habit by Avnish. Wow, thank you so much for so many recommendations. So guys are joking about being skinny and eating a lot of sugar. I envy you guys. I want to be
Exercise. Yeah, this is another thing. You know, when we speak about emotional intelligence, we very frequently forget that the first thing we have is our bodies, right? We cannot be emotional intelligent if our bodies are exhausted, if we're not exercising, if we're not really watching what we're eating, you know, loading up on sugar. You know, we will have no strength, we'll have no ability to even learn new skills. Let's start with that, right? We all want to learn and improve, but how about getting some sleep, getting some exercise, right? So that you have enough power, you have enough energy to work on something.
Exactly. So I think we're perfect with timing. Thank you so much for being with us for 1 hour and a half. Really, we hope something was useful for you. We wish you to be happy at work and after work, whatever you do. And I don't know, Ksenia, should we send our LinkedIn? If let's connect to each other. Let's put
Sure,
the.
yes. I am on LinkedIn just by my name, Ksenia Krivor. I'm there. Please join. I would love to follow you as well. What an international group we had today. So wonderful.
Yeah, and you guys, you can also, I will save the chat, so I will connect to you, so you can also write your LinkedIn link in the chat. I'm sharing mine. So, and hi guys, if you are parents with Ksenia, we are doing another workshop for pre-teens. So if your children are from 7 to 12, we will run a mini workshop on emotional intelligence for kids. It will be less talking and doing something more interactive.
Exactly.
Yeah. But we want to bring emotional intelligence to younger generation because, you know, it's better to start driving it while you're young, right? So we want to start.
Absolutely. The earlier, the better. Yes, we want to introduce children to the idea of emotional intelligence and also to the idea of leadership. I think it's super, super important. Being a leader doesn't necessarily mean being a boss at work. You are a leader of your own life, and how can we make our children a little bit more confident and a little bit more self-aware so they can grow up to be happier individuals? So yes, we're doing the session on Friday, same time, 12 o'clock American time. Exactly. And then,
Central European.
yeah. So join, and it's
Please
free.
join. Yes, please join. You can find it on the page of agile20reflect.org or in a meetup group of Agile Festival. I really need to say thank you to Ksenia for sharing generously with us, and thanks to the festival people, all the volunteers and organizers for the festival. You still can join many events, so the events will happen until the very end of February, and we will have a closing ceremony very soon. So hope to see you also on the party. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Thank you.